I'm Zach.
And I'm Lindsay.
And this is the Game Forum.
Today's episode, we're going to be doing our top 3 picks for Game of the Year for 2019.
We'll go ahead and start with my number 3, which is Days Gone. It was released on the PS4. It wasn't received very well at launch. It was kind of like sent out early before the patches went through. So it got a lot of bad scores, but everyone else that played it when it actually launched, it was a pretty good game. And I really loved it. The story started off weak, but got really strong near the end. The ending of the game was actually incredible, the true ending. The graphics, how the character controlled, I really liked the horde, all the hordes and stuff. It was really cool. I've platinumed it, which to me that matters. And so it was just a all around like a unexpected like gem of a game that it didn't wasn't handled very well, but I appreciate it. I like that it was it was made, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. Definitely a top game of the year for sure.
All right, my number 3 is going to be World of Warships. I always really enjoy a lot of vehicle combat games, and I don't really see a lot of really good, high-quality vehicle combat games done well. When this one first came out, I had high hopes for it, but it's definitely tricky to actually hit the feel of commanding a whole ship well. I think they handled it beautifully. Like, it's very well balanced. I love the 3 classes and how they play off each other. They've continued to add in a lot of new content. The graphics in the game are really well done. The ship designs are really well done. I like the historical accuracy of a lot of the ships. I really appreciate that. Just overall, a really fun combat game, one you can really get into and put a lot of time into. Just overall, I thought it was really well balanced.
It was free too, right?
Yes, and it's a free game.
It's free. My number 2 is Control. I was honestly not going to play this game. It didn't really look that appealing to me. But then word of mouth just kind of got out. Like, everybody was talking about this game. So I ended up picking it up and just checking it out. And from the moment it starts, it is like, I don't know what's going on, but it is awesome. The art direction in the game is incredible. They got, like, the girl, Jessie Faden, the girl you play as, is like an extremely stoic character that is just portrayed very well. The ending is weird, but then again, the whole game is weird. The DLC that's been promised is supposed to be really cool. I don't know, what can I say? The combat was awesome. It felt fun. Like, in a year where we got a Star Wars game with force powers, I thought that this game felt better, which is hard to say because Jedi Fallen Order was pretty great. But I don't know. It's a very weird game. It's not very long, and I just fell in love with it for sure.
All right, speaking of Star Wars, my number 2 is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I really enjoyed this game. I went into this game with pretty low expectations. It's an EA game. They have not been doing so great with some of their track record as of late, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was not just a cash grab. It was overall had a really good story. I liked a lot of the progression system in it. I thought the use of force powers was really well handled. I did run into a couple loading issues sometimes, but nothing major or game breaking. I overall really liked the main character, and especially toward the end of the game, they did some really awesome things with the story components and tying it in to the overall greater lore of Star Wars, which I appreciated.
All right, so before we get to the number 1, I got 2 honorable mentions that I'd just like to bring up. Resident Evil 2, for a remake of an old game, it was actually incredible. I was not expecting it to be. The graphics were insane. The sound design, like Mr. X stomping around upstairs, was some of the scariest stuff I heard last year. Another one, Borderlands 3. It generally wasn't received very well, but I enjoyed it. I put a lot of hours into it. It was more Borderlands, which isn't a bad thing. Those are the only 2 honorable mentions that I have.
My honorable mention for this year is going to be Battlefront 2. It actually didn't come out last year, but I feel like it finally became the game they had promised. at launch. No more pay-to-win mechanics. They rebalanced a lot of the weapons in it. It really felt right. They added in a lot more content, a lot more modes, a lot more maps, a lot more characters. Nobody's locked behind a paywall anymore. I really felt they were deserving of this. They put in the time and effort for it, and I do think that something should be said for doing it.
Yep. All right, so my number one, which is probably one of the best games this decade, is Death Stranding, which it's like you either love this game or you hate this game, and I love this game. I'm I guess a huge Kojima fanboy. I've played every Kojima game, even Zone of the Enders, and there was some other game that he worked on, Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. I think he worked on that too, but I was expecting it to be at least good, and it ended up just pulling me in from the moment it started. The graphics are incredible. The storytelling is unique. It's a game about walking from one place to another to deliver things, and I was totally there for it. The story gets zany. It has one of the most amazing performances I've seen from a character, and it wasn't even Norman Reedus or Mads Mikkelsen, which is just like some random dude who was like I don't even know who he was, but it was like one of the most incredible moments I've seen in a video game, and it was all like motion captured. The facial animations were there, and it was just like, this is a very powerful moment. And the ending was definitely out there, but what Kojima game isn't? And so it was just like, and it's long. There's plenty to do there. I want to go back and play more. It's definitely Game of the Year material, and it's my number one for 2019.
All right, my number one for 2019 is going to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This one I feel like really delivers on all aspects of Call of Duty.
Yes.
Had a really solid single-player campaign. I really love the multiplayer. The Spec Ops was really fun too. I've been getting a little burned out on some of the zombie modes. The graphics in this game have definitely, their new engine really shows. Yeah. They've pushed their graphics to a whole new level. And some of the other components in it, the multiplayer, I really, really love the customization on the guns. I feel like this is going to be something they have to do going forward.
Yes.
And they've been continuously adding in new modes, new events, and was it all free DLC this time around?
Yeah.
So no more dividing the community. I feel like this Call of Duty has really checked off every box they could check off. The gameplay's tight. They really pretty much nailed every category they needed to look at and work on. And, I don't really have any complaints on this one. That's why it's my 2019 Game of the Year.
Yeah. All right. That sums up our top 3 games for 2019. I'm Zach.
And I'm Lindsay.
And we're the Game Forum.